Okay, here's something that I want to talk about. I practice Taoism, and if someone asked what would I define as the core belief of Taoism, I would just simply tell them balance. Balance between opposites, and the belief that balance between opposites is intentional because they form a perfect union. They're meant to be one and still possess their own nature. And I just felt like I came to this point in my spiritual journey, in my understanding of the religion and my connection to the religion, because I felt like any religion that is practiced or any spirituality that is practiced will be unique for the individual, and how one person interprets a purpose of a source or entity in their life could be completely different from the way another person interprets the purpose. So other people's interpretation of Taoism may be different from mine. So the way that I perceive things and the nature of reality could be different from someone else, and that's completely okay. That's the point. Balance is being able to accept that yes, there is an opposite that exists, and not trying to eliminate the existence of the opposite, just to acknowledge it and accept it as true. Yes, it is true that there is something that completely contradicts me. And it's okay. I'm not going to try to fight it and kill it off, because I need it so that what I experience can also be true. And that brings me to what I want to say is the spirit of evil, the nature of malice. And that the truth is there are a lot of people in the world that are completely aware of their malice and their evil nature, and they are okay with it. There is nothing in them that says, hey, fight this off, fight that instinct. Nothing in them that says that. And I feel like a lot of good people have become hopeless because we live in a society that programs us to believe that all evil must be condemned and that all evil must not exist. And we put this effort, right? Those who are instinctually good, right, and strive for goodness. We have been led and put under the impression that we must put our efforts into ridding the world of all evil and combating this evil. And I feel like that is contradictory. And I feel like it isn't true to what nature intended when creating opposites. I feel like we actually end up destroying ourselves and bringing a lot of potential harm and misery because we are trying to have good be the only thing that happens. And the reality is that we can cause only good, right? We can choose to cause only good. And in that way, maybe good will be the effect that we have and that we desire to have, the effect that we experience. That doesn't mean that there aren't other people who are okay with the effect that they cause, being injustice and malice. And just over time, since I've started my spirituality and my spiritual journey, I've been seeing good and bad so differently. I've been seeing evil differently, because I felt like it's a very beautiful concept to observe from a healthy distance. And I feel like it can definitely upset you. It can make you mad. And I think it can definitely cause a disturbance when you genuinely just desire peace. And that there are some people who live a life with a purpose to disturb the peace, that which is. And they are okay with the fact that they are a disturbance. And to some extent, because they are a disturbance successfully, it brings them peace. And I feel like trying to live happily and fight against oppression, fight against injustice, it can really, really destroy your health. Not just your mental health, but your spiritual health, your emotional health. And I feel like if you believe in a God, if you believe in a higher power, evil is not something that any human being should ever give themselves the responsibility of combating, because they will not win. We will not ever win against evil as human beings, simply because I feel like it is part of our nature. And so whenever we try to kill off part of our nature, we, I think, just end up creating this this imbalance in natural systems, environmental systems, and cosmic systems, simply because we try to be something that we are not, which are gods. I think that we as human beings have access to divinity, and we experience it, and we can communicate with the divine, absolutely. And I think that the divine can intervene, absolutely. It's just that as human beings, I think, when we try to, not even try, when we possess more power than we need to, right? Because we have access to all this power. We don't need to possess all of it. And I think the possession of more power than is necessary leads to imbalances that look like a fight between good and bad, evil and that which is pure. And I think it's why the world is a bit confused, and why you can see an absolutely harmonious interaction and exchange of energy on one side of yourself, and then you can look on the other side and see death, you can see murder, you can see evil. And I think I just stopped putting my energy into trying to convince the world that malice is unnatural. And I think that just because it's true to me doesn't make it objective. Some people are just naturally who they are. They don't want to be anyone else. And I think, yes, they may perceive the value of good, the value of justice, the value of compassion and being kind. And, you know, they may understand fully and wholeheartedly why harmony is the most supreme way for us to live as human beings. And some people take that understanding and use it to manipulate and bring evil, right? Just because they understand the power that harmony can have. And I just think it's no way to live your life, trying to combat the opposite of what it is that you genuinely want to experience. You like pretty much defeating the purpose, right? I mean, I feel like the only way to actually spend time experiencing what it is that you desire, and if that is harmony and happiness, then you should be experiencing harmony and happiness, not trying to bring attention or justice or awareness to the opposite, because you'll only feed it, you'll only create it more by giving it your space and time, simply, you know. I've been recently thinking about like spiritual guidance and potentially pursuing a path that would give me the grace to be an advisor to those who maybe seek an extra ear or just some insight or clarity, and utilizing my spiritual gifts and my perceptions, just because I feel like I've overcome a lot. Plain overhead, I've overcome a lot that I feel like those who believe the same things that I do, people who hold my same core beliefs, are still struggling with because of the way society is built. I apologize if my background is so loud. I'm in Vegas, like everything is happening. Everything. There's a Coca-Cola truck going into the freaking hotel. There's like people walking around. There's beaches, and yes, I feel like there are a lot of people who share the same value for cosmic balance that I do, who are still trying to combat this, I feel like, false and completely imaginary battle between the forces of good and evil. Because if I'm being honest, I don't even think evil would want to be at war with good, simply because it's a waste of time. I think true evil has no room or energy to give to combating good. just because it has everything that it needs, and I feel like true good doesn't even try to upset the established order in the heavens, in the above and the below, like in the cosmos, by trying to even figure out what evil is doing so that we can successfully stop it. You know what I mean? Like, everybody stays on their side, and I feel like that is truth. That in reality, the opposites really don't have any intention to go against each other or be at war with each other. The unity between the forces of good and evil looks like them completely isolating themselves from one another and allowing each to exist without manipulation or force or penetration at all. And that allows for peace. That allows for them to exist in peace and actually manifest balance in life. Because I feel like what human beings perceive as evil is completely different than what nature perceives as evil. I feel like to higher cosmic divine forces, evil to human beings looks like murder, and it looks like stealing, and it looks like lying, and it looks like cheating, and it looks like all of that, which is completely different from a force which is so divine it does not perceive any of that. I feel like to nature, evil is the opposite of creation, which would be destruction. It would be the opposite of light, which would be dark. It wouldn't be any of these human concepts that we perceive. I feel like in a greater realm, a higher realm of the universe, there are only opposites that literally have to balance each other out by focusing on what it is that their purpose is. And I think we as human beings misinterpret and I think misunderstand the existence of opposites. And we think that we must fight for one to be supreme. And I just feel like it kind of goes over our head that nature gives us infinite evidence and support that shows that opposites are meant to coexist in harmony, like the sun and the moon, and the masculine, the feminine, the above, the below, heaven, hell, God, devil, the ocean, the land, all, things that we experience which have a duality. And I think just the simplest way to put it is like, if the sun had been able to fully conquer the moon, right? And if day, right, if light was all that had ever existed, we wouldn't be able to survive. It would be a sacrifice that ultimately destroyed all things which are good. in terms, all things which are light. And I feel like if all we ever had was the darkness, all we ever had was the moon, same thing, we wouldn't survive. We need the balance between the two, the willingness that the sun and the moon, life and death, have to coexist and be co-creators, so that balance can reign supreme. Okay, that's my understanding.